For years, the Fujifilm X-Pro4 has lived more in rumor than in reality. A camera often talked about but never officially seen. The photography world keeps circling back to it, and for good reason. Fans of the X-Pro series have been patiently and sometimes impatiently waiting for the next chapter. Now, with increasing chatter about a 40.2 MP X-Trans CMOS 5HR sensor and the proven X Processor 5, the question isn't just when it's coming. It's whether Fujifilm is ready to raise the bar again and deliver something truly worthy of the X-Pro name. It looks like the Fujifilm X-Pro4 might come with the same 40.2 megapixel X-Trans CMOS 5HR sensor that's already in the XE5 and X-T. Along with that, it's expected to use the X Processor 5 to handle all the image processing. These parts have been around since 2022, so they're not new, but they've proven themselves, offering great image quality, wide dynamic range, and super high resolution, all while keeping that classic Fujifilm film simulation look fans love. But here's the thing, just dropping those familiar parts into the X-Pro4 isn't going to impress hardcore Fuji fans. The X-Pro series has always been more than just numbers and specs. It's about the shooting experience, the unique design, and pushing things forward in a way that feels true to the series. So if the X-Pro4 is going to turn heads, it needs to bring more than just the usual tech. That's why there's growing talk that Fujifilm might introduce a brand new X Processor 6 with the X-Pro4. If that happens, it could mean major improvements, faster and smarter autofocus, better color accuracy, and even cleaner low-light shots. That kind of upgrade would show that Fujifilm still sees the X-Pro line as its flagship for innovation, instead of just updating the hardware every few years. And of course, we can't talk about the X-Pro series without mentioning the X-Pro3's hidden LCD screen, one of the most debated features in recent memory. One of the boldest design decisions Fujifilm made with the X-Pro3 was hiding the LCD screen by folding it inward. The idea was to encourage photographers to focus more on using the viewfinder instead of constantly checking their shots after every click, what some call chimping. While the concept had a certain charm and old-school philosophy behind it, in real-world use, it frustrated a lot of people. For street and documentary photographers especially, not having a screen readily visible made it harder to quickly check framing, exposure, or settings on the go. That's why so many people believe the X-Pro4 will ditch that hidden screen. According to the rumors, Fujifilm is planning to bring back a regular, fixed LCD, which would be a smart move. It could keep the camera's clean and classic look, while solving the practical issues that came with the previous design. Personally, I think it'd be awesome if Fujifilm borrowed an idea from Sony. A screen that tilts in multiple directions for flexibility, but also flips backward when not in use to protect itself. That way, you get the best of both worlds. Photographers who love a minimalist, distraction-free shooting experience can still keep the screen tucked away, while those who need a fully functional LCD for fast-paced shooting can use it without hassle. Fujifilm has always been great at mixing thoughtful design with everyday usability, so it's not hard to imagine them pulling off a clever in-between solution. They know how much their community values the feel of their cameras, not just how they perform, but how they look, handle, and connect with the photographer. The X-Pro4's ergonomics will probably reflect that, staying true to the series' design roots while making things easier for today's workflows. And of course, no conversation about the X-Pro line would be complete without talking about its standout feature, the hybrid viewfinder. It's what really sets this camera apart. You get the best of both worlds, an old-school optical viewfinder for that classic feel, and a digital EVF when you need more precision. It's the perfect mix of nostalgia and modern convenience. And it's what turns the X-Pro from just another camera into a real storytelling tool. The X-Pro4 is expected to bring some big upgrades, especially when it comes to the viewfinder and optics. People are talking about a sharper, faster electronic viewfinder with better resolution and refresh rate, which would make things like manual focusing and tracking fast-moving subjects feel much smoother. On top of that, the optical viewfinder might get a boost too, possibly with better brightness and less parallax error, that slight shift you get when your eye isn't perfectly lined up, which would improve the overall shooting experience even more. If Fujifilm really gets the viewfinder right, it could help the X-Pro4 stand out in a world where most mirrorless cameras are starting to look and feel the same. The viewfinder on the X-Pro series has never been just another feature. It's part of what makes these cameras special. It's a core idea, not just a spec. Now let's talk autofocus, an area that's been a bit of a mixed bag for Fujifilm. The current X Processor 5 already made some solid progress in subject tracking and recognition, but in really demanding situations, it still falls just a bit short compared to what Sony and Canon are offering. For a camera that's likely aimed at serious shooters like street photographers, photojournalists, and documentary creators, autofocus has to be rock solid. It's not optional, it's essential. Rumors say the X-Pro4 might offer autofocus performance similar to what we've seen on the X-T5, which is pretty good. But if Fujifilm goes a step further and introduces a brand new X Processor 6, that could mean a serious jump in autofocus speed, accuracy, and subject recognition. That kind of upgrade could help the X-Pro4 truly compete at the top level. Another big expected change is in-body image stabilization. This could bring 5 to 6 stops of stabilization to the X Pro line. A huge win for low-light photography and handheld video. It's a big deal because previous X Pro models didn't perform that well in these areas, especially without a tripod. And even though the X Pro series has never been known as a video-focused camera, the rumored 4K 60p 10-bit internal recording is worth paying attention to. It adds more creative flexibility for hybrid shooters who want strong video options without having to switch to a different camera system. For hybrid shooters, those who shoot both photos and videos, the X-Pro4 could offer a nice balance for anyone who prefers a compact, discrete setup over bulky video rigs. This makes it a great option for creators who want video capabilities without the need for a full-on cinema camera. That said, it's pretty clear Fujifilm isn't trying to make the X Pro for a dedicated video machine. The video features will likely be a nice bonus, not the main attraction. But there is one area where Fujifilm might catch us off guard: color grading options. Fujifilm's film simulations are iconic and loved by many, but they can also feel limiting, especially if you want to tweak your footage or give it a different style in post-production. If Fujifilm adds more control, like HSL sliders, which let you adjust hue, saturation, and luminance individually, or even allows users to load custom LUTs like Panasonic does with the Lumix S9, that would be a game changer. It would blend the X-Pro's vintage shooting vibe with modern digital flexibility, which could appeal to a whole new crowd of creators. Now let's talk about the price. If Fujifilm sticks with its usual approach, the X-Pro4 will probably cost somewhere between $2,000 and $2,500. But with all the rumored upgrades, in-body image stabilization, a better hybrid viewfinder, possibly a next-gen processor, there's a good chance the price could creep higher. Some are predicting it might even land in the $2,600 to $2,800 range. It's not cheap, but for those who care about both design and performance, it might just be worth it. That brings up a big question. Is there still a real demand for a high-end, rangefinder-style APS-C camera in 2026? The success of the X106 seems to say yes, but only if Fujifilm positions the X-Pro4 as more than just another fancy camera body. It needs to be seen as a creative tool, something that inspires photographers and stands for something unique. It has to feel different from the XT series, not just in design, but in purpose. And then there's the XE5. Is it a sneak peek of what's coming, or a quiet stand-in for the X-Pro4? When Fujifilm launched the XE5, they couldn't stop mentioning the X Pro series. That didn't feel like a coincidence. It felt like a subtle nod, as if Fujifilm was saying, "We haven't forgotten." The XE5 is a solid camera, light, capable, and fun to use. But for diehard X Pro fans, it just doesn't carry that same iconic feel or strong identity. So the question becomes, is Fujifilm slowly preparing the XE line to take over the X Pro's legacy? Or is the XE5 just holding space while something truly new and exciting is being developed in secret? Personally, I lean toward the second option. The fact that the X-Pro4 has been delayed for so long suggests that Fujifilm isn't just working on a typical upgrade. They might be rethinking the entire concept. They clearly understand that just giving us a few updated specs won't be enough this time. It has to be something that feels intentional, thoughtful, and worth the wait.